The space station K-17 was always loud. Machines hummed. Boots hit metal floors. Voices spoke in many alien sounds. But for Sira, everything felt quiet inside. She stood in a long line near the job hall, holding the small hands of her 2 children. One was tall for his age. The other was still very small and tired. Their clothes were clean but old. Their eyes were wide and hungry. Sira adjusted her worn jacket and tried to stand straight. She had practiced her words many times. I can work. She would say, I am strong. I will not fail. But every time, it ended the same way. The door opened. An alien employer looked at her record on a screen. Then they looked at her children. And then they said, no. One employer did not even look up. Single mother, slow species. No value, he said. Another clicked his tongue in anger. Children bring problems. We need workers, not weakness. Each rejection felt like a small cut. Sira did not cry. She had learned not to. Crying scared her children. After the 5th rejection, the guard near the hall stepped forward. Line is closed, he said coldly. You should leave the station. Sira's heart dropped. Leave the station meant one thing: no food, no shelter, no safety. She bowed her head. Please, she said softly, just one chance. The guard pointed to the exit lights. Move. Her children pressed closer to her. The younger one whispered, Mama. Sira held them tighter. She turned away from the hall, walking slowly down the long metal corridor. Lights flickered above. A cold air vent blew dust across the floor. She stopped. There was one door she had not tried. It was old. Paint scratched. No bright company symbol. Just a simple sign in human letters. Marks. Workshop, repairs and cargo. Humans were rare on this station. Most aliens said humans were strange, too emotional, too weak, too stubborn. Sira hesitated. Humans did not like her species. Her kind had been blamed for an old war. Even though she was just a worker, the past followed her everywhere. Her children looked at the door. Food? The small one asked. Sira swallowed and nodded. She reached out and knocked. Nothing happened. She knocked again. Softer this time. The door slid open with a loud hiss. Inside stood a human. He was tall, with tired eyes and oil-stained clothes. His hair was messy. His face looked older than his. Years. He held a tool in one hand and a metal part in the other. Yes, the human said. Sira bowed deeply. I am looking for work, she said quickly. I can clean, carry cargo, fix simple things. The human looked at her. Then he looked at the children. He did not speak right away. Sira felt her chest tighten. She waited for the words she knew too well. No, leave. Not worth it. Instead, the human sighed and set his tools down. How long since you ate? He asked. Sira blinked. I do not understand. The human crouched down to the children's level. He smiled, small and careful. Hey, he said, you hungry? The taller child nodded slowly. The small one hid behind Sira's leg. The human stood up and walked back inside. Sira thought the door would close, but it didn't. Come in, the human said. You're blocking the hall. Inside the workshop, the air was warm. There were crates, machines, and half-built tools everywhere. The human pulled out a small food pack and handed it to the children. Eat, he said. Sira's hands shook. Sir, I cannot pay. Didn't ask for payment, he replied. The children ate quietly. For the first time in days, they smiled. Sira felt tears burn in her eyes, but she forced them back. My name is Sira, she said. I will work very hard. The human wiped his hands on a cloth. Mark, he said. I need help lifting cargo and sorting parts. He paused, then added, it's not easy work. Sira straightened. I can do it. Mark looked at her children again. They'll stay here when you work. Out of the way, she nodded fast. Yes, thank you. Mark tapped a screen and printed a simple work badge. He handed it to her. You start tomorrow, he said. Sci-Fi froze. Tomorrow meant food. Tomorrow meant shelter. Tomorrow meant hope. Behind her, the station lights flickered again. Outside the workshop, aliens passed by without looking. None of them knew what had just happened. For the first time since her mate died, Sira felt something warm in her chest. Not safety, not yet, but a chance, and sometimes a chance was everything. Morning on Station K-17 was never gentle. Metal floors shook as cargo ships docked. Warning lights blinked. Sirens echoed far away. For most workers, it was just another hard day. For Sira, it was everything. She stood outside Mark's workshop, holding her work badge tightly. Her children sat on a small crate near the door, legs swinging slowly. They watched other aliens pass by, tall ones, wide ones, glowing ones, all staring at them with cold eyes. Sira took a deep breath. Do not fail, she told herself. The workshop door slid open. You're early, Mark said. I did not sleep, Sira replied honestly. Mark nodded, as if he understood that feeling well. He handed her a pair of gloves, old but clean. First rule, he said. Don't rush. Rushing breaks things and people. Sira nodded again. Her first task was simple. Carry small cargo boxes from one side of the workshop to the other. Sort broken parts. Clean oil from the floor. It was hard. The boxes were heavy. Her arms burned. Her back ached. But she did not stop. Every time her body begged her to rest, she thought of her children eating yesterday. Aliens walked past the open workshop door and laughed. That's the forbidden one, someone whispered. A human hired her? Another mocked. Humans really are foolish, Mark heard them. He said nothing. By midday, Sira's hands were shaking. Mark noticed. Break, he said. I can continue, she replied quickly. I didn't ask, Mark said. He handed her a bottle of water. Drink. She obeyed. As she drank, two station workers stepped inside the workshop without permission. They were tall, armored, and confident. You know this is illegal, one said to Mark. Hiring her kind brings trouble. Mark crossed his arms. She works. That's all I care about. The second worker sneered. When she fails, don't cry to us. They left laughing. Sira lowered her head. I am sorry, she said quietly. I bring danger. Mark looked at her for a long moment. Danger follows everyone, he said. Difference is who runs from it. That night, a cargo alarm rang. A shipment jammed in the loading tunnel. Heavy crates blocked the path. Machines failed. The station manager shouted orders, but nothing moved. Workers argued. Time was running out. Mark grabbed his jacket. Come on, he told Sira. They reached the tunnel. Sparks flew. The main lift system was old, very old. Aliens backed away. That system is unstable, someone said. Don't touch it. Sira stared at the control panel. Her eyes widened. I know this system, she whispered. Mark turned to her. You do? My people built these long ago, she said. Before the war. The aliens around them laughed again. She lies, one said. Her species only destroys. Mark stepped aside. Show me. Sira knelt by the panel. Her hands moved fast, confident. She adjusted power flow, realigned a broken core piece, and rerouted energy manually. The lift shook. Then it moved. The crates slid into place. The tunnel cleared. Silence filled the space. Slowly. The station manager looked at Sira. You fixed it, he said, shocked. Sira stood, breathing hard. Yes. No one thanked her. They just walked away, back. In the workshop, Mark watched her closely. You hid that, he said. I was afraid, she admitted. If they knew, they would arrest me. Mark leaned against a table. They still might. Sira nodded. I understand if you send me away. Mark shook his head. No, he said. You earned your place today. Later, after the children slept on a soft mat in the corner, Mark sat alone, checking station alerts. One message caught his eye. Notice. Forbidden species detected. Investigation P&D. He looked toward Sira. She was cleaning tools quietly. Unaware, Mark exhaled slowly. Hiring her was no longer just kindness. It was a risk. And tomorrow, that risk would come knocking. Station K-17 did not sleep. Lights dimmed, but eyes stayed open. Cameras watched. Systems listened. And on that night, the station noticed Sira. She felt it before it happened. A strange silence followed her as she cleaned the workshop floor. Machines hummed lower. The air felt tight, heavy, like a storm about to break. Her children slept in the corner, curled together on a thin mat. Their small chests moved up and down in peace. Sira watched them often, like she was afraid they might disappear. Mark stood near his desk, reading a message on his screen. His jaw tightened. Sira noticed. What is wrong? She asked softly. Mark looked at her. For a moment, he thought about lying. Humans were good at that when they wanted to protect someone, but he didn't. Station security flagged you, he said. They know your species is here. Sira's hands froze. Her heart started to race. So, it has begun, she whispered. Mark stepped closer. Why didn't you tell me the truth? I did, she replied quietly. I said I bring danger. Mark had no answer to that. The workshop door suddenly slid open with a sharp hiss. 3 station security officers walked in. Their armor was dark. Their faces showed no emotion. Their weapons were not raised, but they did not need to be. Sira of the Kesh line, the lead officer said. You are ordered to step forward. Sira moved slowly, placing herself between them and her children without thinking. Her body acted before her fear. Mark noticed that too. She works here, Mark said. Under my name. That is irrelevant, the officer replied. Her species is restricted under Galactic Law 77. The second officer looked around the workshop. Humans always break rules, he said coldly. Mark clenched his fists. She fixed your broken cargo system today. Without her, half your station would be damaged. Efficiency does not erase history, the officer said. Sayara lowered her head. I will go, she said. Please, do not punish the human. Her voice was calm, but inside she was screaming, not again. Please, not again, the officer stepped closer. Then something unexpected happened. Mark stepped in front of her. She stays, he said. The officers paused. You are choosing her over station law? The lead officer asked. Mark swallowed. His heart pounded. He thought of Earth, of losing his family, of walking away too many times because it was easier. Yes, he said. I am. Sira looked at him in shock. Mark, no, she is not. A criminal, Mark continued. She is a worker, a mother. And she saved your station. The lead officer stared at him. Then you share her fate. The word fate echoed in the room. Before anything else could happen, alarms screamed through the station. Red lights flashed. Warning. A loud voice announced. Power failure in habitat ring B, oxygen levels dropping. The officers froze. That was where thousands lived, children, families. The lead officer cursed. Report. Main control is offline, the second officer sighed. Manual override required. All eyes turned to Sayara. She knew that system too. It uses old Kesh design, she said quickly. If not fixed in minutes, people will suffocate. The lead officer hesitated. Letting her help meant breaking the law. Not letting her help meant letting people die. Mark spoke fast. You don't have time to argue. The officer made a decision. Fine, he said. But one wrong move. Sira was already running. She moved through corridors she had not walked in years. Her hands remembered everything. Control panels opened under her touch. She rerouted power, stabilized oxygen flow, and sealed damaged sections. Sweat ran down her face. Her legs shook, then. Green lights. Oxygen stable. The system announced. Lives were saved. Back in the workshop, silence returned. The officer stood differently now. You violated the law, the lead officer said slowly. But you also saved the station. He looked at Mark, then at Sierra. This is not over, he warned. The council will decide. They left. Sierra collapsed onto a crate, shaking. Mark rushed to her side. You didn't have to do that, she said. They could have taken everything from you. Mark looked at her children sleeping peacefully. Already lost everything once, he replied. Not doing it again. For the first time, Sierra cried, not from pain, but because someone stood with her. Yet far above them. The station console screens lit up. And Sierra's name appeared in red. The station council chamber was the highest room on K-17. It was wide, cold, and bright. White lights shone down from the ceiling like judgment. Tall seats formed a circle, each one filled by a different alien leader. Their faces were calm, but their eyes were sharp. In the center of the room stood Sierra. She wore the same simple clothes. From the workshop, no armor, no badge. Just her hands folded in front of her. Behind a clear barrier sat her two children, watched by guards. They did not understand where they were. They only knew their mother looked small. At the far side of the chamber stood Mark. He was not allowed near her. A council voice echoed through the room. Sierra of the Kesh line. The speaker said, You are charged with illegal presence, forbidden knowledge use, and deception. The word deception cut deep. Sierra lifted her head. I never lied, she said softly. I stayed quiet to survive. Murmurs spread across the chamber. One council member leaned forward. Your species caused the Kesh collapse. Millions died. Sierra's hands trembled. Yes, she said. And millions of us died too. Another council member spoke, colder. Your kind built weapons. You built systems. That failed. Sierra closed her eyes. She saw fire. Broken worlds. Her mate screaming as the station cracked open years ago. We built systems to save lives, she said. Others turned them into weapons. The council was silent. Then a new voice joined in. Permission to speak, Mark said. The council hesitated. A human? One member said, This is not your trial. Mark stepped forward anyway. No, he said, but it became my choice. A screen lit up behind them, showing footage. Cargo systems repaired. Power restored. Oxygen levels rising. Without her. Mark said, this station would be damaged, maybe destroyed. One council member scoffed. Humans always defend weakness. Mark smiled, but it was not kind. Funny, he said. On Earth, that's called strength. The chamber went quiet again. Suddenly, a loud alarm cut through the room. Not a test, a real one. Emergency, the station voice announced. Unknown. Ships entering restricted space. Council members stood in panic. Pirates, someone shouted. They are jamming defenses, screens filled with red warnings. The station shook. Security officers ran in. Weapons systems offline, one yelled. Defense grid not responding. The council turned to each other in fear. Then, slowly, they looked at Sierra. She already knew. That grid, she said, voice steady. It is Kesh built. A council member slammed his claw on the table. You expect us to trust her now? Mark spoke fast. You don't have a choice. Explosions echoed outside the chamber. The pirates were close. Release her, Mark said. Or lose everything. The council leader stared at Sierra. If you betray us, I won't, Sierra said. My children live here. That was enough. The barrier dropped. Sierra ran. She moved through the station with purpose, guided by memory, Old paths. Old systems. The pirates fired at the outer shields, but Sira worked faster. She reached the defense core. Her hands flew over controls. She bypassed locks no one else could. She rerouted power, rewrote commands, and brought sleeping weapons back online. Outside, energy cannons lit up space. The pirate ships scattered, some fled, some were destroyed. The station was safe when Sira returned to the council chamber. She was exhausted. Her legs shook, but she stood tall. The council stared at her. No one spoke. Finally, the leader rose. "Today," he said slowly, "a forbidden alien saved this station." He looked at Mark, then at the children. "Our laws were built from fear," he admitted. "And fear made us blind." He turned back to Sira. "You are no longer a criminal," he said. "You are necessary." Sira felt her knees weaken. Mark let out a breath he had been holding for hours. But as relief filled the room, a quiet truth settled in Sira's heart. Saving the station did not erase the past. It only opened the door to something harder. Forgiveness. And that was still far away. After the pirate attack, Station K-17 felt different. The lights were the same. The metal halls were the same. But the silence was not. Aliens whispered as Sira walked through the corridors. Some stepped aside, some stared. Some lowered their eyes in shame. Only yesterday, they had called her forbiddens. Now, they called her the one who saved us. Sira did not feel like a hero. She felt tired. Very tired. She sat inside Mark's workshop, holding a warm cup in her hands. Her fingers still shook from exhaustion. Her children sat close, leaning against her legs. For the first time in many cycles, they were not afraid. Mark worked quietly nearby, fixing a cracked panel. He watched Sira from time to time, as if making sure she was real. "You should rest," he said. "I am resting," she replied softly. Outside, a crowd gathered. Station officials, workers, even security officers, the same ones who once pointed weapons at her. A council messenger entered the workshop. "Sira of the Kesh line," he said formally. "The council requests your presence." Her heart tightened again. Mark noticed. "I'll go with her." The messenger hesitated, then nodded. In the central hall, thousands of station residents stood watching. The council members appeared on a high platform above. The leader spoke. "Yesterday, this station survived because one being chose to act," he said. "Not for reward, not for power, but for her children." The crowd went quiet. "We denied her work, we denied her safety, and still, she saved us." The leader turned to Sira. "You may speak." Sira stepped forward slowly. She looked at the crowd. "I did not save you because you accepted me," she said. "You did not." Some aliens lowered their heads. "I saved you because my children live here," she continued. "Because life is precious, even when people forget that." Her voice did not shake. A long pause followed. Then something unexpected happened. An old alien worker stepped forward. One who had once rejected her application. "I was wrong," he said loudly. "I saw weakness. I was blind." Another followed. Then another. "I'm sorry." "We are sorry." The words spread like waves. Sira's children held her hands tighter. The council leader raised his hand. By council decision, he announced, Sira is offered full station citizenship, a permanent position as system specialist, housing, protection, a dream offer. All eyes turned to her. Mark smiled, proud. Sira looked at her children. Then she shook her head. "I will not accept that job," she said. The hall exploded in whispers. The leader stared. "You refuse?" "Yes," Sira said calmly. "I do not want power. I want dignity." She turned toward Mark. "I already have work," she said. "I choose to stay where I was given a chance, not where I was forgiven too late." Mark's breath caught. The crowd went silent again. then slowly. Applause. Not loud at first, then stronger, then unstoppable. The council leader nodded, humbled. Then the station must change. Later that day, a new notice appeared on every public screen. All species may apply for work. Parent status is protected. The word spread faster than fear ever had. Back in the workshop, Mark placed a new badge on the wall. Sira Pia Sera Sira. Touched it gently. For the first time, she did not feel like she was standing on borrowed ground. She felt home, but far away, in deep space. Damaged pirate ships drifted. And one of them carried a message. Find the Kesh woman. The danger was not gone. It was only changing. Peace never stayed long on Station K-17. After the council changed the laws, life slowly returned to normal. Workers laughed again, shops opened. Children ran through halls without fear. But Sira felt it, a quiet pressure, like eyes watching from the dark. She worked beside Mark in the workshop, now as a partner, not a helper. Her hands moved with skill and calm. Machines obeyed her touch. The work felt honest. Her children sat nearby, drawing shapes on a metal board. They laughed. That sound still surprised her. Mark noticed her silence. You've been staring at the door all morning, he said. Sira nodded. Something is coming. Mark did not laugh. He trusted her instincts now. That night, the station lights flickered. Once, twice. Then alarms whispered, not loud, not public. Private alarms. The kind only certain systems heard. Sira froze. That signal, she said. It's old, military. Mark turned to his console, his face hardened. We're being scanned. Before he could say more, the workshop doors slammed. Open. Not security. Strangers. Tall, armored. Their armor was scarred and dark, marked by old battles. Their eyes glowed behind masks. The leader stepped forward. Sira of the Kesh line, he said. You are requested. Sira moved without thinking. She stepped in front of her children. I am here, she said. Leave them. The leader tilted his head. Human attachment has weakened you. Mark grabbed a tool and stood beside her. You don't take people from my station. The stranger laughed softly. This is no longer your station. Outside, the lights died. The station went dark. Emergency power kicked in, casting red shadows everywhere. The stranger spoke again. Your kind built weapons we need. You will help us. I will not, Sira said. The stranger raised a hand. Air shook. Mark was thrown back into a wall. Sira screamed his name. Her children cried. The stranger walked closer. You will come, or they will. Something broke inside. Sira. Not fear. Something colder. She straightened. You want Kesh power? She asked. Then listen carefully. The stranger paused. Sira moved her hand over a hidden panel in the workshop wall. A panel Mark never knew existed. Old Kesh design. Hidden in plain sight. The floor trembled. Emergency doors sealed across the station. Systems rerouted. Power surged, not wild, but controlled. What did you do? The stranger demanded. I woke the station, Sira replied. Threw out K-17 lights. Flared back on. Defense grids hummed. Old systems came alive, answering only to her. Mark stared at her in shock. I didn't want to use this, she said quietly. But you gave me no choice. The strangers raised their weapons. Too late. The station itself fought back. Energy barriers snapped into place. Gravity shifted. The attackers slammed into walls, disarmed by invisible force. The leader fell to one knee. You chose humans over your own kind, he hissed. Sira looked at her children. Then at Mark, struggling to stand. I chose life, she said. Security finally arrived, rushing in as the last attacker was restrained. The danger passed as suddenly as it came. Silence followed. Mark sat on the floor, breathing hard. You saved us, again. Sira knelt beside him. I never wanted to be a weapon. He met her eyes. You're not. Later, the council met in emergency session. They wanted to move Sira, hide her. Protect her. She refused. Running will never end this, she said. Standing might. The council listened, for once. That night, Sira stood at the window, looking into space. Stars burned softly in the distance. Her children slept safely behind her. Mark joined her. They'll come. Again, he said. Yes, she replied. But next time we won't be alone. Below them, Station K-17 changed its final rule. Not written by fear. Not written by law, but written by choice. And humanity stood at the center of it. The stars outside. Station K-17 were calm again. No alarms. No red lights. Only quiet movement of ships passing by. Like slow breaths in space. For the first time in many cycles, Sira slept without fear. She woke to soft light and the sound of her children laughing. They were sitting at a small table, eating warm food. Real food, fresh, not emergency packs. She watched them for a long moment. This is what peace looks like, she thought. Later that day, the station council sent a final request. Not an order. Not a threat. An invitation. The central hall was full once more, but this time there were no guards with weapons. No barriers. Only people. Aliens of many species stood together. Workers, families, children. Humans too. Sira walked in holding her children's hands. Mark walked beside her. The council leader stepped forward. Sira of the Kesh line, he said. You were once unwanted, feared, pushed aside. He paused. Today you are something else. A screen lit up behind him, showing images. Sira fixing systems. Sira carrying heavy cargo. Sira standing in front of danger to protect others. You showed us what strength truly is, the leader continued. Not power, not weapons, but responsibility. The hall was silent. We offer you a permanent place here, he said. Not as a symbol, not as a tool, but as family. Sira felt her throat tighten. She looked at her children. They looked back at her, smiling. She looked at Mark. He nodded once. Sira stepped forward. I will stay, she said. The words were simple, but they changed everything. The hall erupted in applause. Not forced. Not careful. Real. Days turned into weeks. Station K-17'd in small ways at first. Workplaces added child areas. Shifts became flexible. No one was rejected for being a parent again. Other stations heard the story. A single mother. A human who gave her a chance. A station that survived because of it. Soon, ships arrived carrying those no one wanted. Widows, orphans, broken workers. They were not turned away. Sira trained new engineers. She taught them old systems and new ideas. She never raised her voice. She never forgot what it felt like to stand outside a closed door. Mark expanded the workshop. It became a hub. A place where species worked side by side. One evening, as lights dimmed across the station, Sira stood with Mark at the window again. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Helping me, Mark smiled. Helping you saved me too. She understood. That night, her children ran through the halls freely. No guards watched them. No whispers followed them. They belonged. Far away, in deep space. The pirates who once hunted her were gone, scattered, afraid. They had learned something dangerous. Humans do not protect because they are strong. They become strong because they protect. Sira placed her hand over her heart, feeling steady warmth. She was no longer a forbidden alien. No longer a burden. She was a mother. A worker. A protector. And Station K-17 was no longer just metal and machines. It was home.